Hello everyone, my name is Jeevan. In this video, I'm going to talk about information security law and standard and regulation framework, compliance, policy, procedure, and processes. So these are really good concepts to uh, and which we'll talk about a lot throughout this information security uh, journey and these are very useful and very important to understand how to handle information or data uh, and so we can take appropriate action to protect the information data leak or breaches. So let's get started. Law. So law, uh, it's the same like the normal law. The law are a system of rules and guidelines that that are enforced by a particular country, community to govern the behavior, how to handle some uh, data or how to behave with some action in a community. So these can be the rules or guidelines to be followed by everyone. Uh, There are variety of law. There is trademark law, there is copyright law, there is digital security law, and there may be cyber security law and uh, so many types of law. Uh, so the next one, policy, procedure, and process. The policy procedure process can be internal to any organization, and every organization may have a uh, differently defined policy procedure and process to serve to their customer, how to uh, act or how to handle any information data uh, or running their business. Uh, So there are some of the very common type of policy you may find everywhere. These are access control policy and the data retention policy that's related to how long the data should be retained and how to retain. And another is password uh, policy. It's about it may be the password complexity, how long that and how complex the password someone should define, or how frequent that password should be rotated. And another is information protection policy, how to protect the information, the personal data, PAI information. So these uh, are the common policy you'll find everywhere. However, these are internal to organization, so you may notice slight variation if you see some X company to the another company. So the process is about what to do. So process what to do is if anything happen in the event of something, how what to do. Uh, the it's that comes from the process to handle. It's a very high level view of interrelated tasks done to produce a product or a service. So that's about the process. Uh, what is policy? The policy is why someone needs to do this, and you have to follow this policy, and that is the reason you have to do this. So the it's a particular set of work instruction you can say or a business rule that are aligned with the agency's objective or your company goal or motive and management uh, uh, perspective to how to why to do this in the event of anything. And the procedure. So procedure, as the name says, the how to do, how to handle it. It can be the set of instructions, the written step by step how to do things. So you can give the uniform delivery. If any task is done by X person and then later it is done by Y person, if you do not have procedure defined how to do this in a uniform procedure, then you're not going to get the same result. So there will be conflict in the delivery as well. Uh, so it is good to have procedure defined, so we are going to get a same quality, irrespective of the person who is working on some objective. So we can meet our goal and give the uniform delivery. Uh, Next one, the standard framework. The standard, these are very vast topic here, but I will just try to make aware what is standard mean. The standard is sort of written document, you can say, which uh, which may be approved by or the recognized uh, and governed and recognized by the some authoritative body, the regulatory body, uh, so which can be used for a common or repeatable use, which will be again set of rules guidelines for any activity. So the results aim to achieve a optimum degree of order in a given context. So there are different, here is a list of uh, very common standards and framework I have here. So PCI DSS framework. So that's the related to the payment card industry data security standard. So it's related to payment card industry. If any industry, if your company serves or handle payment card information, so they have to follow this standard to there is a detailed uh, about this standard. If needed, I can prepare a separate video on this topics, but that's going to be very lengthy. So it's more about how to handle card information and those customer and how to protect the card information as well. So it's very and detailed uh, standard. But for briefly here, you can say if any company serving or handling card information, they have to follow this standard. And it, whether they are following this standard and how maturely they are following the standard, that's going to give the level of confidence to their customer as well. And if there is audit, so they have to meet those standard, and then only the result of the audit will give them whether they are compliant to those standards policy or not. Next one, ISO 27001 2013. There are several ISO standards, but this one is more related to information uh, security management system related. So it's about the organization maturity level of the establishing and implementing, maintaining, and continuously improving and their information security management system actually. So this is more about any organization to get and acquire to give the level of maturity in term of information security management. Next one is HIPAA. So it's a HIPAA is Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, which is major widely used in United States to how to protect for individual identifiable health information and how to co handle those information and how to protect those information. So this is more about uh, handling this health information of the users or individual. Next one is SOX. The SOX is a Sarbanes-Oxley Act. The SOX, which is designed to protect investors and and the public by increasing the accuracy in financial transaction or a balance sheet of any company. So this gives the more transparency and the accuracy the level, the title that they have in under their socks, so that gives them a confidence level to the investor and increase the reputation of the brand as well. So after the any audit, they go for all these standards, any of the standard based on their business segment. So they are going to get the verdict after the audit. So those verdicts, so the standard title certificates they get, this is giving confident level to their investor, consumer, user, public, all. Next one is GDPR. That's very common and widely known standard currently. So that's about General Data Protection Regulation, which is about handling, protecting data, the general public data, how to, it's about more stringent privacy and security law globally, which is uh, purpose and the limitation. You must process the data for legitimate purpose only, so you're not misusing the data. How and how the retention policy, how should be, and how if the country wants you to handle their data locally, so you should have your infrastructure or a business model to follow these standards. So every company needs to define their data privacy and protection uh, as per this standard. This is very important standard currently. So another one I will, this is NIST, uh, cyber security framework I will talk about. So this is more on uh, voluntary framework, or the, you can say, the framework is just the standard guidelines or the best practices, you can say, to manage anything. So let's say we have a security, we have a data and a company, and we need to protect that data. So how to protect that data, the best practices from the same industry, what they are following, and how to determine the risk levels and all these frameworks. The NIST has a lot of frameworks in a different segment. But this one is more about cyber security framework pillar to maintain the security of any company. Next one is MITRE framework. So the MITRE attack framework is just about how, how gives the this framework gives the tactics, techniques, and common knowledge about attack adversaries, and it's about describing attacks and intrude how they behaving, and they have a defined techniques which we can use from blue team perspective, and this is about it. They have a very curated knowledge base, and the techniques and the adversary behavior, and they're reflecting the various phase of adversary attack life cycle, and how the attack goes. The attack doesn't happen in a one day, so that goes through several phases, and it's a very long process. So what are the points, what are the areas that defender can strong their controls to stop any attacker. So it is very helpful and very good framework for for um, cybersecurity, any mitigation of any cybersecurity attack, or uh, putting control, or putting the countermeasure against any potential future attack. So that's it in this video. Hope this has been informative to you. If you like, consider subscribing my channel. Thank you.